A fragile peace, M23 ceasefire brings hope to Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo dared to hope for peace on April 6, 2023. This was the day the M23 rebel group announced a ceasefire. This significant development came after months of intense fighting. The violence had displaced countless civilians and fueled a humanitarian crisis. The ceasefire, while tenuous, offered a glimmer of hope in the war-torn region. The M23, a predominantly Tutsi group, had resurged in 2022. They captured swaths of territory in North Kivu province. The group claimed to protect the Tutsi community from alleged government persecution and violence from other armed groups. However, their offensive caused immense suffering and displacement. The ceasefire declaration, though unilateral, was seen as a positive step. It raised cautious optimism for a negotiated settlement.
The M23's ceasefire did not emerge in a vacuum. It followed mounting pressure from regional leaders. Key players like Angolan President João Lourenço had intensified calls for de-escalation. They urged all parties to engage in dialogue. These diplomatic efforts aimed to prevent the conflict from spiraling further out of control.
The regional stakeholders recognized the volatility of the situation. They understood the potential for the conflict to destabilize the entire Great Lakes region. Previous ceasefires had crumbled. This fueled skepticism about the M23's commitment to a lasting peace. Yet the regional pressure underscored the collective desire for a negotiated solution. It signaled a shift towards diplomacy in addressing the crisis.
Coinciding with the M23's ceasefire announcement was the arrival of the East African Community Regional Force, or EACRF, in eastern DRC. This deployment marked a significant escalation in regional efforts to pacify the conflict. The EACRF, comprised of troops from various East African nations, had a clear mandate to oversee the M23's withdrawal from occupied territories and to create conditions for dialogue.
The deployment of the EACRF was not without its challenges. Coordination among the contributing countries and navigating the complex web of armed groups in eastern DRC posed significant hurdles. Furthermore, the force's effectiveness hinged on the M23's genuine commitment to disengage. Despite these challenges, the EACRF's presence represented a tangible step towards regional stabilization. It offered a glimmer of hope for a more secure future for the people of eastern DRC.
Despite the ceasefire and the EACRF's deployment, reports emerged of continued clashes between the M23, other armed groups, and the Congolese army, known as FARDC. These violations underscored the fragility of the peace and the long road ahead to a durable solution. The ongoing insecurity continued to exacerbate the humanitarian crisis in North Kivu.
The M23 rebellion had already displaced hundreds of thousands of people, adding to the millions displaced in previous years of conflict. These vulnerable communities faced dire conditions in overcrowded displacement camps, lacking access to basic necessities like food, water, and healthcare. The continued fighting, even on a smaller scale, hampered humanitarian aid delivery and prolonged the suffering of those caught in the crossfire. The situation highlighted the urgent need for a lasting peace to alleviate the humanitarian crisis and allow for the safe return of displaced communities.